just don't know. I don't know. I'm looking, yeah.
Marc Clarke, that's classic. I love it.
Bootsy Vegas, welcome, my friend.
Oh, wow.
How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I see we got some new bells and whistles.
Hold on.
Let's go. Let's get it in. Watch out for the big girl. 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 Watch out for the big girl.
You know that song, Bootsy. You know that.
Watch out for the big girl. Big girl. Big girl.
None other than Baltimore's legend, DJ Booman.
What up? What up?
Big girl. Big girl. Big girl. Big girl. Big girl.
What year was it, Booman? What year was it? Take us inside when this happened.
Woo. Man, the original song was 1993.
Ooh.
Long time ago.
And so,
Boy,
Booman, what
Snapple
happened?
fact, Lizzo was only about 4 years old at that time. That's
Wow.
crazy
So
thing.
put us in the studio.
Well, all right. Well, first of all, it started at the club. Like Jimmy Jones was, with my partner, rest in peace to him. He, we would go in the club. We would actually get all of our ideas from stuff that was just happening in the club. So we were always, you see the big girls in the clubs and stuff. So we came home and was like, the next day we're in the studio, was like, we need to make an anthem, for the big girls in the club. And that's just kind of how it started, you know what I'm saying? And it just went from there. Became like a cult classic, and then all the way to now, when it was adopted for Lizzo's TV show that came out a few months ago.
And so, and we had Booman on before, but Booman, I wanted to get you on, Bootsy, because some things are happening. But you know how we do, Bootsy. We start one direction, we come back another, and I can't help but think, Booman, because I think we all have experienced these moments. Bootsy and I have talked about this before, where you start right here. You start over here, but little did you know, right? Little did you know, number one, that you would lose your brother Jimmy at early.
Yeah.
Number one. Little did you know that, this thing that was so uniquely Baltimore and, the communication party scene, community thing would flip to, be something that ties you to Lizzo, who's going to be one of the biggest artists of her generation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was thinking about, as we saw the verdict, first of many, sadly, with R. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And R. Kelly, who, again, as we, love him or hate him, he no doubt was probably one of the biggest artists of his generation.
Absolutely.
As a producer and as an artist, right? And not just R&B, I'm just saying in general, one of the biggest artists of his time, right? And he talks about, when he talks about Space Jam, that song, he wrote that years ago, it was a dream, and it involved cartoons, and it involved this song, and then boom, Space Jam decades later, right?
Yeah.
And now it's pretty much rap. He's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. Bootsy, you've witnessed go-go, again, similar to Baltimore Club, in that a musical form that the community loves, those in power didn't necessarily appreciate, love, respect. And then, Bootsy, you saw, in kind of a weird thing, go-go became a story in the news hot for what, about a year or two.
Yeah.
Ending with a whole doggone almost political movement piece. Yeah. And who would have thunk when you were, in those practice sessions? So I say all that to say, guys, is there any tie-in? And again, me again, back in Baltimore, Big Fat Morning Show. Me and Troy used to be in the studio, sleeping at the studio to do a parody song for the Breakfast Flakes. And when we did the 92 Hours of Peace, where we slept inside the vehicle on the streets of Baltimore for 92 hours, or Marc Clarke in the Park, or all those things we did in the community. Little did I know, Booman, 10 years after I was off the radio, I would return to be on television. And I guess a part of it is I'm asking myself even, is there any, I don't think you ever think, you never think that's the case, right? When you're doing it, you're just doing it. Yeah. And you never really think down the line that, you know what, if somebody just stopped you and said, Booman, believe it or not, brother, you're going to be a part of the biggest artists in the pop culture. And you're in the club, you're like, all right, man. All right, Rose, man, keep it moving. Right? Yeah, right. Bootsy Vegas, you're going to be a part of the history of one of the greatest groups ever, Earth, Wind, and Fire. You're going to be inside his home, in his hospital. Right. You're going to be someone who he recognizes on a first-name basis and will give his life and soul for you. And you'd be like, what? So is there any connection, guys? I don't think so. I
think so.
Oh, wait a minute. I got one more that I shared before. Boots, you know this one. So I'm in Springfield, Illinois, hooking up the cable to the stereo to hear the radio station in East St. Louis, and Jockenstein do the roll call show. And then years later, he's my friend. I'm at his house at cookouts. I'm having those late night conversations. I'm at his, and we're friends, and to the point even when he passes away. So I don't know. I can't say I felt it back then. Did y'all feel anything? Any clues?
Spiritually, yes. Vaguely, maybe I was just dreaming. That could be it too. But I will say this: what I do think about what you're expressing as well, and even with Booman, his song, the Big Girl song, has been circulating for a long time. It may have started in Baltimore, but that has been a bona fide staple in the culture of what we know as Baltimore house music. And I think sometimes now through the invention of the internet, he may know that. But that has been a big record for a long time. Like whether it was played or whatever, that record was really known. And I just wanted to really say that to him, that I've been that staple is one of the most introductory songs to that culture. And I just want to say that, man, it's an amazing job. I've always appreciated the song. I've always jammed to it. I went to Maryland Eastern Shore for a little bit, so I got to know what it was.
Shout out to Eastern Shore.
Yeah, Eastern Shore is a mix of DC and Baltimore. A lot of people don't know about UMBS.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a good mix of everything. Like you get there and you learn the Baltimore culture, and they learn about DC, and then they end up tying up. So I just wanted to really, really say that. Now on my end, I always had dreams and visions of it. You know what I mean? And I would just say that the internet has really widened what you can dream and what you could do. You know what I mean? But I would love to know what Booman is going to say.
Yeah, I think, same sentiment. I mean, it's something about this area. It's something about, back then we were just, a bunch of party kids making party records and right. To see what it turned into. But just like the go-go scene, I went to Howard for a year and I got to experience go-go. I didn't really understand it until I went to one. And then I got to see exactly what it was about. And that's the same thing with the Baltimore sound. It's like, so, these sounds, they've been around, and I always thought it would be something. I didn't know exactly what, but we knew it would do something, outside of the local scene. And then sure enough, these sounds are, they're worldwide now.
And see, in my end, Booman, I would love to know from your perspective, what do you think the issue is in go-go not connecting in Baltimore like other people think it should be? Because at one point, go-go was venturing down there a little bit or whatever, and Chuck Brown always did good there. What do you think the connection is on why it's a disconnect?
Yeah, I never, the thing is, being the DJ, I never quite figured it out because I always played, it was, of course, like even with any genres, it's certain records that are more hits than, outside of the main scene than other ones, but I've been trying to figure that out for a long time, and I've actually dug into the fact that people really don't realize how influential go-go was to 80s hip hop. 80s hip hop was mainly a lot of go-go breaks and samples that were all chopped up, and those guys rapped on a lot of that stuff. All those old records, they don't even understand how influential that was. So it's still puzzling to me, exactly what happened with that. Why I didn't connect, in that way.
Yeah, because the crazy thing is that Trouble Funk was with Sugar Hill Records or whatever. So they did a lot of stuff. Def Jam had Junkyard Band. They did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the beats were circulating. So it's very interesting. But for Baltimore to be so close and to have
to be close, it's weird. It's always been weird to me. And like I said, Funk Regulator CeeLo is a good friend of mine, and we always, we actually do music together now, even now, and it's still, it's just been a weird thing why it never really, fully connected here. It's kind of,
it's so
could be just Baltimore cats being Baltimore cats, that's how it is.
And DC cats being DC cats. Because the crazy thing is, I talked to CeeLo today. I actually talked to him this morning. Me and DJ CeeLo went to high school together.
Wow. Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, we were to high school together.
The other thing that we share, and again,
crazy.
I'm sorry, guys, and Booman's gonna be on the TV show Bootsy on Thursday. A little preview on Fox 25 in Baltimore. But something else that we share, guys, and I've been in the market, I guess, for almost 20 years now. The sad in our community is that Bootsy and Booman, in both communities, people who were, pioneers / legends. There's these amazing stories like Booman, so I guess my journey for Baltimore started around 99, 2000. So when I, in those clubs, I think about, you can't help but think about Reggie Reg. You can't. I think anybody in the area, and I was I'm talking 20 years. If you say EAEA, I think you can't help but just see Reggie's face. And then K Swift, you can't really talk about the influence of the famous Baltimore DJs that many are still alive. You can't even Frank Ski, who I guess Frank's originally, really from DC, but really
DC,
cut his teeth in Baltimore. The late Miss Tony or Big Tony or Tony. You can't, so and this was my kind of short induction, in the introduction, and it hurts. And I know Bootsy, sadly, in the same thing in the go-go world, obviously the monster Chuck Brown, but there's so many same way, like, gone too soon. And then when I say gone too soon, some of them were in their 70s, but I mean, Reggie, again, these people, the young Swift, I mean, come on, like so young that
everybody loves Swift too. Everybody loves
tear to your eye. Was so young, right?
Man. And now, and then for me, it was interesting because when I was in the Listen Band, we were signed to Unruly. So I was really thinking when we signed to Unruly with Sean, I remember discussing before we really agreed to do this and we signed on and we started doing the compilation with DTLR. I was talking to him about that. Like, how do we minutes? How do we make it one big market as it used to be? And then the other thing, talking about Chuck Brown, which is the most amazing thing, is the Chuck Brown band played at Essence Festival this weekend. So think about this. Wow. He's been dead. He has been passed away for 10 years. And he is still providing opportunities for our culture. He was that big to where people still get to show up and play at the New Orleans Superdome this Saturday. It's just going to show you. And then with Swift, it's still a legendary. It's still legendary. And it's just amazing their impact it is and the impacts they had on our communities. And even though it has never been officially tied, there's always been a connection, a tie-in, a buy-in. And for some reason, it's never been able to really lock like that.
So Booman, we'll hop into what we're kind of the focus. So recently, I think actually you and Frank Ski probably jumped off first. I think Frank Ski brought the conversation about Baltimore club with WAP, right? And that was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Everybody was talking about that. Yeah. And then you hop out there with Lizzo, that relationship that you have not even had but have with Lizzo. And I see people, I like to remind everybody that Lizzo uses my Uncle Booman and Uncle Jimmy Jones song on stage. People protecting you. Like you'd be like, would you be quiet? I'm trying to get this money.
Yeah. Everybody hit me up like, did you get y'all straight? Yeah.
So
that's
for the record,
that's just the
man,
love that we get. So it's great.
you're in negotiations. That's still happening. So don't get it twisted, right? It's some still things going on there, right?
Oh no, we all separate. Everything is good. Yeah, everything. We actually
Oh,
wait to
wow.
see if
Yeah.
they're going to do a second season. So yeah, everything is in Jimmy's estate is taken care of, and everything is perfect. They we had a really good lawyer that took care of everything. So yeah, everything's good.
I can see the smile on your face, Booman. I can see the smile on your face. I can see the smile. I'll tell you
yeah,
right.
it's
I know
all
you're
love
gonna be
for sure.
You can see the ink on those dollars right now being printed as soon as they say season 2.
Well, and then all of a sudden, we minding our own business, and Beyonce drops a record
for sure.
That is, Beyonce drops a record that really probably is more, probably considered more a Chicago house, a little influence, right? But then Drake drops that Sticky record, and which is obviously has that Baltimore club sound. So Booman, what's your take on this?
Yeah, more on the house scene. Yeah.
What's your take on this kind of thing that's happening with the music? Can you hear me?
I don't think he can, because that is a $1 million question about Beyonce and Drake.
I love it. I mean, the thing about it is we have arguably two of the biggest artists. Like, yeah.
Oh dang!
Bootsy,
you see, I'm trying to be fancy, right?
Yeah, they must be calling him his phone. He must not know about airplane mode. But
Bootsy,
yeah,
you saw I'm trying to be fancy. I was trying to share the screen and be fancy.
And boom, he's gone. You
back?
I think I dropped out. Sorry about that. Got a bad reception.
So I was saying, yeah, Boo. So what's your take on this kind? Number one, what I think is funny is, I know some will disagree, but on one hand, people like Drake buried the hatchet with Kanye, and this album to me sounds really Kanye-ish. People don't people ain't really saying nothing, but it's got a lot of variety of sounds, but. That Chicago thing's distinct, but then remember that was a couple years ago, right? When Kanye hooked up with your boy, what is it? I'm the ish, right? Wasn't that
Yep. Yeah, Kanye DJ Class. Yep.
So what's your take, Boo Man, with Beyonce, Kanye? They're kind of hopping in that kind of club house feel.
Yeah, I mean, at the core of it, I love it because you got arguably the biggest artists who are now, adopting the sound that, we've known for such a long time here. I would like for them to, reach out to more producers here when they do, but, I'll take it. It's a start. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know some people are kind of on the fence about it, but I think that, the fact that, the mainstream audiences, they get a taste of, Baltimore club once again. And I don't think it's only positive things that can come out of it, because now, you have, what we consider like, in the DJ world, those records become really big. Those are anchor records that you can then transition into Baltimore records. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a plus. You know what I'm saying? I really think that's a plus.
And it's so funny on Twitter, on any platforms, there's always the beef part. And what kills me is how people always make everything so simple, don't they? My man says the most disheartening thing about, the conversation is watching y'all say we need to rap over club music when we've been rapping over this 4 years. It took Drake to make so everybody, but it's like sadly, it's not that simple, right? It's not that simple, sadly. When you're creative, if you're doing this and doing that, it's just timing. It's who the person is, it's who the artist is. Yeah. I remember Boo Man, you probably was there when a couple things happened in Baltimore that moments that I'm like, wow, it was a moment. So we all know Rod Lee is right. He gonna do what he.
Shout out to Rod Lee. That's my guy.
Rod Lee gonna do what he want to do. He ain't really one to be influenced by anybody, right?
Oh yeah, he's not impressed by he's been doing him, and he's successful. He's doing his thing. So
he does his thing, and so Bootsy. So at the time, I remember Kevin Liles was president of Def Jam Records. Rod Lee dropped one of the hardest beats, probably. It's one of them DJ Booman type beats that Tim Trees.
Oh yeah,
right?
that record still
right,
goes.
it's still banging. You know the beat, Bootsy.
Bankroll.
Bankroll. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Kevin Liles was in the studio and he was like, "Yo, what is that?" Like, because it was crazy. And he calls, it's Rod new Tim Trees. And he did it for Tim Trees. So but Booman, you know how Riley rolls. He was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
He was ready to do the beat right then. He's the president of Def Jam Records. He's from Baltimore. Y'all know each other. He was like, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
And the thing is, because those records, like, they've been so popular, and and while we haven't seen millions of dollars, we've been able to eat for a long time on our sound. So you can't just come to us with just any old, here's a record deal and $20. We're not really going for, even with the Lizzo thing. It took a year to negotiate it because I'm like, yo, we own it. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? We own the record 100%. So they got to come correct. You know what I'm saying? So that's a Baltimore thing. Our attitude is, same thing with DC. We got an attitude that's just, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. That is true about DC and Baltimore. Even though DC and Baltimore, for whatever reason, as we say, Bootsy, they ain't really coming together. But y'all are equally as arrogant or non-bothered. Y'all are equally non-bothered.
Well, let me say this. I don't know if it's arrogant. I think we're a little bit more protective of our sound and our music. And we're not so open to being exploited because we've been promised so many things. We've been told so many things is going to happen. When you deal with that for a bunch of years, you become a little bit more protective and skeptical of a whole lot of things and promises. So people may look at it as arrogance, but I can take you 3 instances where when I was with Earth, Wind & Fire coming back and forth, I had big name producers try to trick me into giving them instrumental go-go beats. And they were like trying to trick me into it. Yeah, can you just send it to me? You know what I mean? And can you just do this? You know what I mean? You got to be careful about that because you will hear your stuff played somewhere and then you not be included. Booman just made a great point when he said, I wish they would include Baltimore people when they do these songs. And it's the same way with go-go music. When they be doing their versions or rendition of go-go songs, it would be better if you come get the go-go, people to do it. And this is real talk. I love Dougie Fresh. I really do. He my homie. He came and spoke to my kids. I've known him forever. You did a whole go-go album and did that include nobody in go-go in it? You know what I mean? It's like, we're not hard to find. If you want to do something for the culture, you would be something by including the people who are keeping the culture alive. So when you think about it from that perspective, as somebody like a Booman who's been living, fighting to keep this music alive in these small condensed areas, you kind of got to watch out who's coming and selling you the pie in the sky thing. You know what I mean? Because if they wanted to do it, they would have been did it, in my opinion. They would have been did it a long time ago. See, what we're learning about this Drake and Beyonce thing is, it ain't no secret to nobody. Everybody been listening to Baltimore. Everybody been listening, Beyonce did Crazy in Love. Was her first single. Everybody, so I go to show you that they know it. They know all about it. When Beyonce did the Homecoming thing, she did go in the DVD. You know what I mean? But my thing is, like what Booman is saying is, man, come get some of the cats. I wish you would come get the people who are keeping it living or keeping this music vibrant. And when you think about it like that, it's not arrogant. It's being protective. It is being cautious of what you're going to do. And when you do it, are you leaving us behind and catching your leg and we left here to figure it out as normal? Like we always do say, oh yeah, that's my song. Because I've dealt with that. I've dealt with that with Missy Elliott, 100%. Dealt with it, you know what I mean? And we couldn't sue her for Get Your Freak On. We couldn't do nothing. We had to just take it, you know what I mean? So yeah, when you have those stories, you're a little bit more skeptical of when people are coming saying, yeah, we're gonna do it right now. Like, no, they could have been did it right now. So go ahead.
And then, also what's interesting, guys, is the question of the accessible nature of that person who does represent whatever genre that city does. it seems like you have some people, I think, are accessible and they get those calls, and some people are beasts and they never get those calls. What do you think separates? Because and so for Go-Go, I'm thinking of Chucky Thompson. I'm thinking for some reason,
he rest in peace, which is
may rest in peace. It felt like
a very interesting story about him is because he had a lot of us in studios. He had a lot of conversations. You just never know. You know what I mean? Now, what I have learned, and let me say this before I even say this is my perspective. People want you to give it to them, at least in Go-Go's perspective. Give me, and I'll look out for you in the back. You know what I mean? Or well, let's see how it goes. Because they waiting for somebody else to do it. Now, as you know, Mark, I worked at Columbia with Urban and Fire. I was in Columbia Records and all that. So when you start letting them know that you're a little bit more smarter than what they think, they kind of come different. They tend to go to younger people who are not business minded. They tend to go to people who are not that musical savvy, who don't know about publishing. And one thing about the music business is whatever you don't know, they will use against you. I cannot tell you how many times
100%.
I have had, and mind you, Mark, you already know what it is. I'm Raheem DeVos. We're best friends. I've been in all multiple rooms. And when you start talking about publishing and points and writer's credit, it starts getting real tricky. It really do. They tend to go to the person that they know do not know their business. That's why in the beginning I've been doing this thing lately where I don't necessarily tell you what I've done or who I've been around or what I'm doing. And a lot of people kind of look at me like, oh, he's the guy that teaches broadcast journalism. If you don't know that I lived in LA and worked for Urban and Fire for 5 years straight, you may think, oh, he may know a little something. So I don't know about Booman's perspective, but in DC, they tend to go to the person that ain't that musical business savvy. You know what I mean? And as you know, there's a lot of Wale Go-Go records, and there's a lot of people mad about in bands about those records. And I'm gonna let Booman go on that one.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. The industry is known to go to people who know absolutely. They'll go to, if you know absolutely nothing, that's what they want. And so they're well aware of everybody in both of these markets, but it's all about ownership with those labels, and they want to get to the people who will give away the most amount of ownership, and that's just the bottom line. So if you're a young cat, you coming out of here, you 16, 17 years old, you making club beats or you making go-go and you doing that stuff, that's what they want, because they know you don't know about points, you don't know about publishing, you don't know about copyrights, you don't have an attorney, access to an attorney, all of those things. So that's what they want. And so they're not gonna go seeking out elder statesmen like us right away. The fact that Lizzo really wanted the record is the reason why the record happened, because I didn't, so what? You know what I'm saying? Okay, and this is going on, and what? This is what we need, because like I said again, we own 100% of the record, nobody else. So that's just, that little hook that y'all think is just a little blurb, you know what I'm saying? It's been fueling the clubs for a long time, and we know that, and so that's what it is. And so they had to come correct. And everything worked out. They were, the great people there, so everything is good. But if I showed you the first offer as compared to the last offer, you would not believe it. You would not believe the very first offer. The one where I just played as I normally do. The same thing he said, same thing. You don't let them know everything is going on. It's a whole game. So that's just how it works, though. That's the business.
That's 100%. And I swear to God, I just dealt with this, Mark. As you know, Essence Magazine wanted to do a go-go thing. They wanted to do a go-go thing because they was in DC. They wanted me to be the music director. It went great, but when I started laying down certain things about the fact that they were going to be recording it, they was going to be circulated on their magazine, they was going to use it as a part of their promotion, it ended up being like, damn, nigga, like, how you know what I mean? It was like, oh, and literally it got that way. It was, oh, he's the go-go guy. Because as you know, Mark, I wasn't around because I had stage 4 cancer for 3-4 years. I wasn't in the mix. I was getting my life back together. Oh my God, you guys have this. With the Essence thing, we had songs that we did. Raheem had songs that he had to get clearances from the writers who co-wrote the songs. Then it started getting tricky. And then again, it was like, well, we could have got other go-go bands or whatever. And then they liked us so much, they wanted us to go to the Essence Festival. But that was a whole nother conversation. So going back to what he's saying is, they kind of wait to see what you don't know. See, because we're such a regional, marginalized music in a condensed area, it's like there's no real need for it that big. But if we like it, let's see what we can do. But the minute you start laying it all out, and and when they start throwing their first offer, and you start telling them what it's going to be, like for me, I was the music director, so I was in charge of I was the production guy. Man, when you start telling them all that, it's like threatening. And when you're not in a big demand, like how we are right now in these regionals music, it's a different concept. Now, people may say, oh, because I hear this a lot. Oh, well, they cocky and, we do know our business. Mm-hmm. We have war stories for 25 years of dealing with this. You know what I mean? Some of it has never gone away, and that's where it comes. But the stigma will be, oh, they're cocky. You know how they are. Let me say this. Booman been around for I can't remember this man forever. I never met him. You know what I mean? You don't be around as long as me and Booman is still doing it all these years later. If we didn't know something, if we didn't have an understanding, and if we didn't know our value, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Technically, it ain't no 20, 30-year runs in regional markets like we had at this level. You know what I mean? Doing multiple things. So I do think that's what the conversation is.
Well, and again, Booman will be joining me on Fox 45.
I'll be checking it out.
Thursday,
absolutely.
And talking about the influence of Baltimore club and house music. So it's such a small world. I don't know if y'all know DJ Fink out of Chicago, but he's a
I know the name.
He's a house music guy. And I didn't realize we went to college together. He was a young cat. That class underneath you. And so I called him and they said, yeah, Mark, I was in 91. I was 88. I was like, oh, dang, I know this guy. And so anyway, we do have to do another one, y'all. We'll because I thought, Bootsy, I would love to do a party, Chicago house, Baltimore club, and go-go.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Ooh.
Man,
and the crazy thing is that's how college parties work. Like all of this segregated regional music. Like when we used to party in the 90s, you had everybody that was that went to college. You had your reggae set, you had your go-go set, you had your Baltimore club set, you had your New York hip hop, West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Like the South music. So I would love to see you get back to that anyway. That was a great time.
And so we're gonna wrap. Bootsy, final words with you, and then Booman, how people can reach you. Go ahead.
Okay, so Booman, at Booman, at some point, me and you gonna have to get together and do something, man. Like we have all these.
Oh yeah, 100%.
DJ CeeLo is my man. Sean Caesar, Unruly, I've done work with them, and I do think if anybody could do it, it definitely could be me and you. At some point, me and you need to get on the phone or go have dinner at Mark's
I'm down.
house. Hey, we need to go to Mark's house and have dinner.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because Mark got money now, so he can afford to get dinner.
Wait a minute.
You know what I mean?
Boom ain't got money. We ain't got money.
So yeah, but Booman, real talk. At some point, there are a lot of fences and dots that we and you should really connect. This is the second time we didn't have a conversation. You know what I mean? And for some reason, I know me and you have the same vibe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we just need to really figure some things out because
we just got to get together and make it happen.
We got to get together.
And I worked with Raheem before. That's my guy. So we got so many people in common that this will be great.
Yeah, man. We definitely do. It's always a pleasure, though, bro. I'm a fan. I love your music,
man.
And let me say, I've been jamming to you since high school, bro.
Oh yeah, that's dope, man.
And yes, so, Booman, how can people reach you?
Anything at DJ Booman. DJBooman.com is the website. You can go there, and then all my social media is just DJ Booman, Facebook and everything else, TikTok, all of those. I don't do the dances and stuff, but I'll put some beats up there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, everything DJ Booman.
Boy, David Fallon. We used to fuck off in Baltimore when I was down there at Easter Show. Hey man, they really got some balls in Baltimore. What up? Poor shorty to the side. Poor shorty to the side.
All right,
poor shorty
you know what to
to the side. Tell her throw her hands up high. Poor shorty to the side. Poor shorty to the side. Poor shorty to the side. Tell shorty shake that ass. the side. Pull shorty to the side.